So what's up, Flip Factor family? This is Michael Green with the Flip Factor Podcast, the #1 podcast dedicated to teaching you how to flip less houses and make more money so you have the freedom to do whatever the F you want. Today, we're going to talk about the secret to developing real, authentic confidence when talking to motivated sellers with Delante Desouza. He's back again.
Once again.
What's up, man? Like many times again. Delante and I, before we get into the episode, Delante beforehand came up with an epic idea. We were talking about a guest we were going to have on, and I think they were going to talk about graveyard flipping. I'm not going to name any names, but Delante was like, what does that mean? And and then he came up with this really cool concept, and I'll take a little credit with him because I feel like he's embarrassed that I'm going to actually put this out there, but we're going to call it driving for fresh dirt. Delante, do you want to explain this? Yes or no?
Yeah, you might as well.
Please don't judge, because we have to explore every option. This is super creepy, but also curiosity kicked in. And now me and him are like, what? Maybe this would work. Go for it, man. Tell them the juiciness. And again, this is just an idea. We have not done it. Just to be disclaimer, we've not done this. We probably will never do this because it is pretty creepy, but funny, man. Go for it. Tell them.
So this is just, look, again, please. This is not the judgment zone, but here's the plan. What you do is you wait till about 1, 2 a.m., go to the nearest cemetery you can find, walk through the graveyard and look for fresh dirt, kind of evaluate what's going on. And then you look at the name on the headstone. Whenever you see like a fresh patch or like some flowers left there or something, you look at it, you look at the name. You can judge whether they were usually the headstones have like what year they were born and what year they passed. So you can even filter by if this guy's at least 50 years old or if this name is like 50 plus, they have something in their possession, right? So then you just take it from there.
If they have like a little stick coming out of the ground with their name on it that someone written a magic marker, you're like, yeah, he's pretty broke. He probably didn't own a house.
Yeah, there you go.
Headstone, hold on. This guy had a little money, so he probably had a house or a woman, right? Yeah. All right, so might be on to something. This is crazy creepy, but hold on. It's actually, we wouldn't even mention it, but it was such a interesting idea. Now, I'm not telling anyone to go troll graveyards because we got way better concepts than that. Probably going to share some of them with you today, some cool things, but you're not going to gain the confidence we're talking about today by trolling fresh dirt. But Delante said it. I thought it was funny. I figured I'd share it with everyone because it is pretty hilarious, actually. All right, but I don't recommend it, and I would not ask you to go do that because, we want to be able to sleep well at night. I feel like I would not sleep well at night if I trolled dirt and knew that I got a deal from that. I feel like we kind of do that when we send out probate mailers. It's really pretty much the same thing without walking through, potentially being attacked by vampires, 1 a.m. That's the only part of the equation you didn't throw in there is that, what if, because if there is vampires, they would be there. That's totally where they'd be hanging out. Right?
Or people who think they're vampires and they just kind of drink cow blood.
Yeah. And so I'm way more afraid of them than real vampires. By the way, I'm totally way more afraid of them because those people are apparently probably serial killers. So, I have a chance of coming back as a vampire with a vampire. The serial killer, I'm just going to end up in a lake somewhere. So I don't want that. Sorry, let's jump in, Delante. It's time to get real, man. We have some announcements super quick, and then we're going to get right into the content. So everybody knows we have a Facebook group. Jump in. You guys have heard it if you listen to other episodes. It's the Real Estate Flip Factor 10X. Free cool stuff happening there. Please go join. We'd love to have you in. It's free. It doesn't cost anything, and a lot of cool stuff. The power of the community is having you in there. Your ideas, your creativity, cool concepts you're coming up with, things that are working, and that's what we share in there. Cool feedback. So we've been giving a lot of value, a lot of free lessons I've been giving in there, teaching about the cool stuff I'm doing, breaking down deals every week, breaking down podcasts, just takeaways, cool stuff that's just going to really help your business grow. You've got to be around other awesome people in order to be awesome. Right? You're the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So if you'd like to come and be, around 800 to 900 really cool people, jump in this group, Real Estate Flip Factor 10X. Love to see you guys there. All about nothing to sell in there. So it's just about building the community and making it better. So I'd love to have you in there. Also, if anyone wants to work with me personally to grow and, scale their business, and when I say scale business, I mean scale profits, not volume. I want to scale your work hours down and scale your profits up so you can have some freedom to do some cool stuff. Feel free to send me an email at mike@theflipfactor.net if you want to work with me personally. So anytime, I'd love to talk to you about it. Delante, are you ready? Let's jump in.
Yeah, awesome. So I'll jump in with the first question then. We're talking about confidence when talking to motivated sellers. I'm sure a lot of our listeners out there, if you are, a newer investor, it's scary, right? Going to a motivated seller and having a conversation with them because you feel like there's so much on the line, right? There's like this huge opportunity to be able to buy a house from them and stuff like that. My first question, honestly, is why does confidence even matter when dealing with motivated sellers? I mean, isn't it just about the numbers?
Totally is about the numbers, but when you have confidence, my experience has been that the numbers go up in your favor because people follow confident people, right? If you have a lack of confidence, then they have a lack of confidence in you, right? It's like the secret. I read this book, whatever we put out into the world, we get back. If you put out a lack of confidence, then people are going to give you back a lack of confidence in you and your business. Most of the time, people ask me as a new investor, should I get like business cards, a website, an LLC, all these different things? And the main reason that people get those things is to build their confidence. To feel confident, to feel like I'm a real business. If I sit in front of someone they'll take me serious because I have this website and everything. To be honest, I just literally got business cards about, I don't know, a year ago, and I rarely ever use them because I project confidence when I'm speaking with sellers, and I'm doing it in a very natural, non-salesy way. They trust me and like me, and they rarely ever ask me, do you have a business card? They just never ask me, can I get referrals? Or, can I get some references of people who've worked with you? They never really ever look for any of this stuff. They don't go to my website unless I'm generating. The only reason I have a website is because I'm generating stuff online as leads. But when I was just doing letters, I didn't have a website because no one cared. And if you have to get one, go get a Wix website for $15. You can build in 4 hours because it's going to do the same thing as a $5,000 website in reality, because people just might want to, they maybe want to check up on you a little bit, but most of the time they don't. People check up on you and care about all those things when you have a lack of confidence. But when you have confidence, people just trust you instinctually, right? They like you, they love you, they want to be around you, because who doesn't want more confidence, right? If we could bottle confidence up, I feel like we could sell that like drugs, Delante. We could have a new empire of I'm going to give you confidence, and let me give you one shot of confidence. That's why everything we do is all about building confidence, right? Building confidence, talking to sellers, building confidence that your marketing is going to work, building the confidence that your business is going to be, sustainable, that you're going to consistently get those checks from your house flip month after month, week after week, so that, you're not unconfident. So everything we talk about is always I don't want somebody flipping 5 houses a month and then having 3 months of nothing. I want them one house, break that out and do 2 houses 1 month and then 1 house a month for the next 4 months. So that way you're consistently getting checks every month that keep you confident. Because when we have a lack of confidence, everything goes wrong. Right? Sellers stop responding to us. We start making bad choices throughout our business. Our people don't want to work for us. Our team members start to not want to be led by someone who has a lack of confidence.
With all that being said, I mean, what's wrong with just using, the tried and true sales tactics when dealing with motivated sellers? I mean, it's what's been proven to work. Proven to work, as far as sales tactics. Do they not work anymore? Because
they totally work, just for the record. So you'll never hear me say that sales tactics don't work, right? They're working. They're just working less these days because so many people know them. When they used to be amazing is when there was 1% of people were using sales tactics, and so 99% weren't. So the 1% that was using those tactics was crushing it because they were different and they were doing and saying things that were very different, very optimal at the time. Well, now most people have learned or taken some kind of sales training or learned some kind of sales technique from YouTube, Facebook, somewhere. Some people are even hiring specific people like I did for years who are teaching them to be awesome salespeople. And unfortunately, most of your competitors understand some basic sales, and they're going to be using a lot of these sales tactics. So for me, really big on doing what I call anti-selling and being more natural with sellers. And when we're more natural with sellers, then we're more confident. Because I have to tell you, for years, I worked so hard to memorize every script, to memorize every rebuttal to an objection, to really know what to say, how to say, and it took me years to do it. But even then, when I was really great at all those scripts, my confidence was not at a 10, right? My confidence didn't get to a 10 until I realized that I don't need to be on script. I don't need to get it right all the time. Right. What I really need to do is just be me and be authentic. And then I went from maybe when I was the awesome sales guy, I was maybe at a 7, 6 or a 7. I just was never as high as I could be. When I go to this more natural way, I went straight to a 10 because I don't really have the ability to mess up a sales call because there's no objective anymore to try to close them or corner them or do any of these sales tactics anymore. It's all about just getting there, building rapport with them, getting to know them, serving them at a high level, treating them with respect, being honest and transparent, and anti-selling them, doing the opposite of what all my competitors are doing, and come in and just be a human being with them. And when I do do that, my confidence level skyrockets. And this is how you build confidence when you're talking to motivated sellers, because you have to know that, like, okay, I could make a mistake and I'll just own it. Like if you say something wrong, because really it ain't about you anymore now. See, when you think about sales, right? What is sales about? It's about us having a technique or a tactic to get what we want. When we come in and we change our perspective to be all about the seller, then all of a sudden it's hard for us to get it wrong. Because I can tell you right now, if I'm like, Delante, what's most important to you about your, the offer that you'd like me to make? And then I just listen to you for 20 minutes. What really can I do wrong there, right? There's not much for me to mess up, because if I'm listening well, then they're going to love me. But if I'm in there and I'm like, all right, Delante, so what we're going to expect today is this. So I'm going to give you an offer and I'm going to need a response. And then, we're going to negotiate and all that. Well, obviously there's a lot of things that can go wrong with that. We could say it wrong. We could come off wrong. It could be the wrong timing for it. There's so many things that we could do incorrectly whenever we're pushing on people and using what I call, maybe we call it dinosaur flipping, right? Okay, we're going to dinosaur flipping. We talked about that last episode. We're taking it from caveman flipping to dinosaur flipping. So the analogy, when you're dinosaur flipping, you're using these old school tactics, old school sales tactics. The stuff they're teaching today, by the way, is stuff that people invented 50 years ago. Like there's an evolution that has to happen now, or you're going to go extinct. It's just like the dinosaurs did, right? We have to evolve. If we're not evolving into high performance house flipping, then you're just going to have a lack of confidence, right? You're just not going to be doing things at the highest level.
I think you touched on this a little bit, but I just want to be kind of highlight this. What is your big secret on creating confidence when talking to motivated sellers, and then inspiring confidence in them to trust you and what you're saying and being able to provide them with the best solution? Like, how do you get that done?
I'm curious. I ask questions, right? I'm very question based. My questions are very open ended. The purpose of those questions are not to trap them or convince them to do something they don't want to do. It's to explore what they really want and get them to open up to me, so I know what they truly want. Because see, we assume that people want the most money, but most of the time people just want to know they can trust the person they're selling to. They want to know that they're getting a fair price for their property, which is relevant, right? I mean, depending on what they want, fair price might be a little bit lower. If they're looking, to sell it quickly, not do any repairs, have a definite settlement date set in stone, well, that's going to get them a little bit less money. So, and I can explain that to them very hey, look, if you want to take and fix this up, put it with a realtor, you're 100% going to get more money, Delante. That's anti-selling. We call it damaging omission, right? We want to put that out there because we want the people to know, you could definitely do this yourself if you decide. However, most people decide that I'm okay taking a little less and selling to you, Delante, so I don't have to deal with all that crap, because that's the reason I called you. And see, we don't realize that because we just think people want the most money. No, they want the convenience of working with us. If they wanted the most money, they would call a realtor.
It's funny because we always hear all the time when people are like, yeah, I didn't go to the appointment because they wanted too much. I just saw in the Facebook group, yeah, I'm calling these sellers, but they all want too much. So all my leads are bad. Well, who are you to say they want too much? What is it? Did they specifically say, I want too much for my house? Here's how it's going to be. No, this number, I want over it because I want too much.
Yeah. And I won't take anything less in any circumstance. I mean, look, I've had people tell me look, it's 200. Don't come out if you're not going to pay me 200. And I still went out and presented to them, talked to them 2 hours in there, built rapport, and said, hey, I know you were pretty stuck on the 200. You're pretty passionate about it, but let me show you what's going on in the neighborhood. And I'd love to get your feedback so I can try to get as close to that 200 as possible. And we'd spend 30 minutes looking over properties, talking about how much I'm going to spend on the renovation, what I'm going to sell it for, really me just being transparent about how my business works and what I'm doing. And at the end, I'm like, look, based on that, I'd be offering 150. And the guy was just instantly okay. Now, I mean, this was a call that my acquisitions guy wasn't even going to go to see. And I heard the recording and I was like, you know what? If we were going to go do this deal, the best way to get him off that 200 is in person. Let's get out in front of him and try to make it happen. And we made it happen, by the way. So it actually was a good lesson for me at the time that, my person who was doing this wasn't digging deep enough. He wasn't working hard enough to get deals done. He was giving up at the first sign of resistance, right? When because everyone's going to call and wants too high of a number. They all want that. The thing I look for is, are they truly motivated to sell? And do they have the ability to sell for less than that number they're demanding? Now, if they're demanding that number because that's what they owe, then that's reality. And that's not much we can do about that. We're not going to magically make their mortgage go away. Unless they're late, then we can do a short sale. And I guess that's the magic way. But ultimately, that's not going to be the case. So if that's something that's a restriction, but if this person who said that they wanted 200, he told me they had no mortgage and that they were definitely moving no matter what. He was moving with his son to another state. He was getting older. think he was in his 80s, and he's like, I'm moving and this is happening, right? There's not a plan B. I'm just selling it. So with that being said, I didn't worry about the price too much. And if I failed, I failed. But my best chance of getting the deal done was to get out in front of them, right? To get in front of them. And this is how you build confidence, when you stop worrying about what people are telling you and just know that if you go and serve them at a high level and ask questions, get to know them, really get to just like to dive into their needs, you're going to find that like what had happened in this is a lot of people are like, Mike, that was like genius negotiation. No, it wasn't. I just spent enough time with him for him to discover what he was okay with. You know, before, when we first talked on the phone, he thought 200 was all he would accept. By the time we talked for 2 hours, he realized there could be another option, and maybe he would have to take another option based on the comparables, based on what someone would be putting into his house. And yes, he probably could have got the 200 if he was willing to fix it up, but he wasn't willing to do that and did not want to. He wanted the convenience of being able to sell to someone who could settle quickly with no repairs, no headaches, right? Just convenient.
And I think that's the thing that you really touched on that is sort of genius about this, right? We always tend to think in terms of the numbers and the price that we hear over the phone when we're making that initial appointment. You know, how much more confident would you be if you knew that it wasn't about getting the deal? Like, the deal isn't the risk factor here. So you take away like, I got to get this deal. I need this deal. Like, this is such a great opportunity. And instead you just say, what can I offer this person? And how can I serve them to the highest level to get them what they want? And if the deal comes as a bonus, that's awesome.
Yeah.
But if not, no skin off my back, there's always going to be more.
Absolutely. So if you're prospecting correctly and you're getting plenty of leads in, you're able to do this. And by the way, when I first decided to do this, again, like many things I've told you, my brain told me that like, Mike, you're going to be cutting your business down some. And I was like, you know what? I want to run a business that I'm proud of, and a business that serves people and does great things. I want to stop taking so much and stop being so much about me and make it about others. So initially I thought I would be taking a little cut and pay in order to have this, business that I desired. And now the reality is it was just the opposite. Everything unlocked when I made this change, right? Everything unlocked. Because think about it. What do we always talk about? Stop chasing unicorns, be one. What is the fastest way to be a unicorn in sales? Being honest and caring about someone else is not what most of your competitors is doing. Most of your competitors care about one person, and that's them, right? It's them and their business and like how they make the most money. Now, I'm very lucky that I'm able to care about others and give to them and pour into them and service them in a big way, and my business still make out. That's what I call a true win-win, right? We always hear that saying, the win-win, but it's rare that in sales you can create a win-win. But when you start talking about doing this anti-selling and really servicing people at a high level, it's the closest thing to a win-win I've ever seen. Because there's many times where I'm on the phone. I had someone yesterday on the phone who called. It's like, I have this house, I want this much money, and like, it's great condition and this and that, great neighborhood. And I was like, I could make you an offer. It's going to be less, and you probably wouldn't make as much money. If you're open to that, I would be willing to make you that offer. But no. But what I would recommend you would explore is, could you take and just do a little bit of work or put it with an agent? Because in this neighborhood and the condition it's in, you probably can get close to full price for it. It's not really an as-is condition. It's really more of a retail property that I think you would get more money with. And when I said that, he said nothing more than like, thank you. I really appreciate you being honest. That phone call was 5 minutes. It didn't take long. Did I try to like make a square peg go into a round hole? No. Because now if he would have said to me, I really don't want to sell with an agent, then it was on, right? That's I qualified him and he would have passed the test. And then I would have went into building rapport, going to see the house and doing everything. But he didn't bite the hook on that. So he was like totally like, no, I'll just do that. I even talked to an agent. I just was checking. He was really just seeing if I would be willing to make him the same retail offer that an agent could get, and he wouldn't have to pay the commission. It's okay though, but see how confident I was, because I wasn't worried about losing it. So Delante, if I had to think of what the number one strategy that the listeners could use to start building their confidence, it would be off of Delante's advice that he just gave you, is really to disconnect from what you think you need to accomplish and all that, and really start to connect to what is it they want to accomplish, and how can I get to know them and understand their desires and what they really want, so that I can start putting a plan together for them and us to work, for us both to work together. That's going to be pretty awesome for them, but also awesome for me too, and then create that win-win. Now, most of the time we don't know it, because most of the time we're assuming what that might be based on our beliefs, but we never took any time to get to know the prospect and what they truly want.
Yeah. And I think that's massive, right? Because I think personally, I remember when I went on, this is a while back, when I first went on like seller appointments and stuff, when I was like back in the hanging bandit sign days. I was like super nervous to go inside the house and talk with a motivated seller because I felt like I needed the deal. Like I needed to make this deal happen, or else like I don't know, maybe I was like a failure or something. I don't know what I was thinking. But needless to say, the appointment went terrible because one, I wasn't confident in myself. And two, I didn't consider what the seller wanted and what they were really looking for. Looking back on it now and kind of talking about, this new process of anti-selling and really taking the seller into consideration, you're going to build your confidence when you know that there's absolutely nothing to lose. If you prospect correctly, like you said, so that you're using your time efficiently, you don't have anything to lose because even if you don't get the deal, you still helped someone out at the end of the day.
Yes. And by the way, if you consider it failure, I mean, this is a business of failure. I mean, if you're getting 25 leads and you're closing one, you're actually pretty good off, right? You're definitely up to par with like dinosaur flipping, but dinosaur flippers make good money. I used to be a dinosaur flipper and I made tons of money dinosaur flipping. So it's not that you can't make money. I just had to work my butt off to do it. Like, and sacrifice quality of life to have the things I wanted. And that's the only shift here is when you get more efficient and get into high performance house flipping, you can start doing it with less time. But with that being said, I've seen a lot of people 1 in 25 dinosaur flip and like make really good businesses off of that. But think about what I'm saying there. You have to get 24 no's to get one yes. So yeah, if your process is painful, like could you imagine making your process against your core beliefs, your morality, who you are and who you want to be? If you make your process like totally incongruent with you and you have to go out and do it 24 times to get one win, and that's when you're good at it, by the way, because if you suck at it, it could be 1 in 75. Well, like who's going to do that, right? Can you see why that would be so hard for people to get to the point and ever get a deal? Most people get a couple rejections in and they quit. Most people quit like 1 or 2 rejections, not 24. So no one's ever going to get to the deal. Now, if you make the process more enjoyable for you and for the seller, then you're going to have the staying ability, right? That staying power where you literally have no issue. You can stick with it. You keep doing it because it's pretty effortless, right? That's why we call it naturally talking to sellers. Like it's so natural and easy that at some point now I feel no angst when I go to an appointment. In the past, I used to have to get pumped up for it, look in the mirror, do some affirmations, positive affirmations, like do 3 push-ups, just like, yeah, ready, man, let's do it. And I realized like I shouldn't need to get that pumped up to go talk to someone, not after like 7 years, but it was because it was so incongruent with me.
I think we touched on a lot of great stuff, and I think you shared a lot of great tips, Mike, with all the listeners out there who either are struggling to go to that first appointment or just still don't feel confident in the appointments. I mean, just go out and focus on serving that person. The deal comes, it comes, and if it doesn't, then,
To summarize it up too, I believe that is our tip to the top. Delante, do you want to introduce the tip to the top?
Yeah.
Go for it.
Let me get my pirate voice ready. Arg, tip to the top.
All right, tip to the top. So the tip to the top today, I'm going to summarize it. I believe that Delante gave a very powerful tip of, just releasing from the results, getting out and having a natural, beautiful conversation that's fun, enjoyable, that's going to draw you to want to do it more. And the more you do it, the better you're going to get. The more it's simple for you and congruent with your personality and your moral beliefs, the more you're going to be able to create a sustainable business. It's also going to be something you can teach to others when it's easy for them also. Right? If they don't have to work hard, you're not going to lose acquisitions people every week because they hate what they're doing and it's driving them crazy. You're going to get people who love doing this. So that's the key, man. Thank you. Tip to the top today was from Delante Desouza, sponsored by Delante Desouza.
And Mike, I want to go back on this. Like you said one thing that was like really genius yesterday about the 5 questions. If you wanted to throw that out there as well.
Well, specifically, what about the 5 questions? Because it sounds like you liked it more than me, you remembered it. So I don't know.
Yeah, you said, keep 5 questions in your pocket that you memorized.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Okay, got it. No, thank you, man. That was good stuff. So so one of the things I did is I don't really believe in scripting out every word you say because it sounds very robotic and it's honestly, it makes you very unnatural and it stressed me out big time, like really stressful. So what I did instead is I memorized 5 open-ended questions, 5 open-ended questions just that I could use at any time I need it to keep the conversation going and just keep them talking and sharing about themselves. And one might be like, hey, Delante, thanks for inviting me out. What can you tell me about the house that might be important? All right. So that way they're talking, or, hey, how did you come into this house? What is your relationship to the house? Now, you don't have to use mine, find your own if you want, or you could use mine. Totally cool either way. But get 5 questions that you memorize that you just practice saying them 25 times each. So you could just say them, you memorize them, and when I was new, I would have a little check sheet that I'd take notes and I'd add the questions on the check sheet. So that way I could almost look at my check sheet, like where I'm writing 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, photographs. I write down, okay, the ceiling needs repair. And then my question's there so I can actually use that to help guide me in the conversation. Now, I naturally do it now, but, this is for if you're new and you're just getting into this, or if you've been doing it a while, but you're not feeling comfortable, right? Get some questions that's going to drive the conversation. So yeah, thank you for adding that. That was a really good, valuable piece, Delante. So I'm glad you actually, remember to write that down. We try to, whenever we talk about cool stuff personally, we always try to write it down and make sure we share it with the listeners. So thank you guys, everyone. Delante, awesome having you here, man. Good stuff today. Great pirate accent. I'm really thinking like that thing is evolving to be something special. Also, if anyone doesn't know, Delante is an actor. Delante's life mission is to flip houses, make money so he can fund his acting career and be the next Black Panther. Because how Marvel rolls, they're probably going to kill him off soon. So they're going to need to be a new one in the future. They already killed off Iron Man, if you don't know. And now they're trying to make Spider-Man Iron Man. I don't know what the heck's going on. But Delante would like to be a part of that narrative if possible, if you guys could help. So if there's any directors listening to this, Steven Sealsberg, if you're checking out house flipping and you need a very talented upcoming, I would say affordable, he's probably going to work pretty cheap. So you're going to be able to get him at a cheap price because he's new before his prices go up and he has a big roll of films he's done and all that. Get him while he's cheap because he's not going to be cheap forever. Right? You guys need someone. Like you need an actor. How about Delante? I know what you can do for people. How about Delante, since he's a professional actor? He could be like doing testimonials of like, John Smith sold me a house and they were the most professional. So if you need a paid actor for like one of your Facebook videos for your business or anything, Delante is so ready to do it. He just did a Chase ad for Chase Bank and he's got some cool stuff going on. But if you guys need him, he's there. And I never gave him that plug and I want to make sure he gets it because I feel like someone's going to need someone. You guys are going to need Delante for acting, right?
Trust me, I do good impressions and I do good testimonials.
Well,
it'll be good.
All right, let's focus on the testimonials because the impression of the pirate was like a little iffy. I'm going to be honest. So I don't know if I want to sign off on, I'm endorsing Delante on impressions, but 100% on commercials. He's got you testimonials if you need them. And then also, if you want to learn to run your business a little more efficiently, feel free to reach out to me at mike@theflipfactor.net. I don't do acting classes, but I help people grow their flipping business and make more money and have a great business that they really enjoy running. And you can reach me at mike@theflipfactor.net if you're interested in that. Feel free to reach out. I'd love to talk to you. Delante, thank you for being on the show. The listeners love you. You're giving great stuff, so they always appreciate you giving that back. Keep it coming because I know that it's probably you're helping a lot of awesome people out there who really are trying to grow their business and do great things, man. So appreciate having you on. I'm sure you'll be back very soon. We already got you booked for some other stuff. So can't wait to do it, man. So thanks again. And thank you, Flip Factor family, for joining us and taking, some time out of your day to listen to this content. So I'm Michael Green and my work is done and yours has just begun.